Thank you so much for joining me at Mama Needs a Goal. Today I am going to do 3 simple, easy fall crafts, and I hope you'll stick around and check them out. Alright friends, my first craft that I'm going to show you, all you need is a sign that I found around the house. And what I did was I got my laptop and I went in and I made this sign here. It says autumn, and I added a few little leaves in the background. You can do this on your computer. If you have a Cricut, you can make a stencil and stencil it on paper, or you can actually just use the vinyl and put the vinyl on paper, whichever way you find best. It doesn't matter, but I did it on my computer. So I went ahead, and if you notice I have it towards the bottom instead of the top. I just find it easier having it at the bottom. When I end up cutting this out, I only have to make one cut across the top of the paper instead of the top and the bottom. That way I know for sure I'm going to have a straight line at the bottom. So I went ahead and I printed this out on my color printer, and I will show you that. So I printed it out and then I cut it out to size. What I did was, originally I was going to put it on here, but then I thought, you know what, I can put it here and I can change it out for the seasons. Do one for Christmas and Halloween and Valentine's Day, and then all I have to do is turn it over and I can stack them in here. So what I did was, in here, I'm going to show you close up, there's like a little lip, I think you can see that. And I thought originally I was going to put it inside. Actually, I was originally going to put it inside of this, and then when I saw this, I thought, it'd be great just to fit it right into there. So I just laid it on top, the paper on top, and I just kind of used my nail to give me an impression on the paper. And then honestly, I just cut it out, and I just stuck it right in there. And look at that. Is that awesome or what? So now I have my home sign for every day, and then for the fall I'll put this out. I may even change it out for Halloween, I'm not sure. And I could even laminate this if I wanted to. I could print it out on printer paper, which would make it a lot brighter instead of this doll finish. But I kind of like the doll finish with this type of wood. I could even take my paint and distress it a little bit, but I really like the way this home sign was with the bright white and the black, and I don't know, just something spoke to me about this, and that's it. So simple, easy, and if you went to the store and purchased this, it's going to cost, I think this actual home sign I paid $14.99 for. Now granted, it's like a little tin there, but something like this at the store, you're going to pay at least $7.99 for or more. So that is my first little DIY fall item. Alright my friends, I really hope you liked our first DIY. Now for the second one. I am going to link this below just in case you did not see it. I don't know if you all recall, this used to be a clock and I upcycled it and I made it into the porch bucket list and put it outside in my screened-in gazebo. And now with the weather changing, we do still sit out there. We just get our little blanket and our hot tea and coffee and sit out there in the evenings, and we just love the crisp air. And I was staring at this sign thinking, how fun would it be to have a fall sign out there? So I am now going to take my Upcycle and upcycle it again. So all I'm doing is, again, like I said, this was a clock, and I removed the clock and just put this in there. So I'm going to take that. I made a new sign, just used the same background, and it says autumn, bonfires, sweater weather, cozy blankets, crisp air, and pumpkin spice. And you can put whatever you want, and as you can see, I changed the fonts on each one. I have myself a couple fall leaves. I purchased these at the dollar store, so it was just $1 for this little stack here. And then I have these little pumpkins that I purchased at the dollar store, and they actually are clip-on pumpkins. Has like a little clip there. And then my same brown paint and a little bit of water and scissors to cut it out, and that is it. So let's get started with this project. Okay friends, so what I'm doing first is removing the back of the wall hanging. I just took the screws out and then I'm just going to pull these tabs back. I'm just going to leave the greenery in here for now, so I don't have to redo it. And then I'm going to remove, going to go ahead and remove the insert. I'm going to go ahead and move out my card here. And then what I'm going to do is take this, the one that I just printed, I'm just going to lay this on top and trace around it. Just kind of centering it. I have it centered. Perfect. That. Just going to go ahead and trace this out. Okay. That looks good. And then what I'm going to do now is distress it a little bit. I'm going to show you here if you can see up close. And the last time I done this, I should have added a little bit of water. So I'm going to put a little drop of water in my paint. Then I'm going to mix it around. There we go. And then I have an old sponge. And I'm just going to use that and dab it in there. Then I'm going to start off on the side here just to get a lot of that out of there. To get a lot of the off of there. And then I'm going to just dab in and work my way in. I just like it when it has some strokes in there. There is no rhyme or reason. I just kind of like it distressed. And you don't want your sponge to be too wet because then it'll smear the ink on your words. So alright, I think I'm gonna like that. So now what I'm gonna do is just take my scissors, cut this out. I really like the way that distressed. Now I'm just going to bring this back here and put this in. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put the back on. Okay, now that I have my tabs back on, I have that in there. Is that adorable or what? Okay, my friends, what I'm going to do is take this little pick here that I purchased at the dollar store. I'm going to take off the leaves. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'll just do a few and see. And then I'm going to take the little pumpkins that I purchased at the dollar store. You'll see that. And I just thought the color, they had some orange ones too, but I just thought that color worked really well with everything. So what I'm going to do now is just take my leaves, just go ahead and put this through. Whoops. Put that through. I'm going to go ahead and take my leaves. them in. I think do some more here, and then I think just clip my little pumpkin on the front there like that. Do you see that? Is that adorable or what? Then I think what I'm going to do is just add some right up top here. And let's add these up here. Actually, I think I'm going to put the darker ones in first. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck those in like that. And then what I'm going to do is just add that right in there like that. Put that through like that. And then I'm going to take another one of my little pumpkins and just going to clip that right onto the leaves. And try to clip it on both of them. That way it'll hold it together. There we go. Now, is that adorable or what? Can you all see that? How cute is that? I'll give you a close shot of it at the end. And it's that simple. Now I'm gonna hang this out in the gazebo and I'll be all ready for the fall. Simple, easy DIY. And like I said, you know, this was an old clock. If you don't have an old clock, you might have an old picture laying around that has a really nice frame, but you don't care for the picture any longer. You can do something like this, and even if you have a picture and you don't care for the frame, you can always paint the frame, print something out, and put it in there. You don't have to keep the picture that you no longer want. Upcycle, upcycle. And you can change it out for the seasons as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little upcycle, twice upcycle. And next up, I really think you're going to enjoy the next craft that I have, so stick around. Alright my friends, and now for the last craft. I had this book stack that I bought at Hobby Lobby probably about a year or so ago, and really it's just MDF, and they have it to where it looks like it's a stack of books together, and it says home sweet home, and I've had this sitting on my coffee table and I was thinking, you know, it would be so cool to have one of these for fall. It said like pumpkins, hay rides, or whatever. So this kind of inspired me, and I kind of went on Pinterest and started looking around to see if there was something out there like that. And I have a couple had a couple ideas, and I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go. One of the ideas is you can just get some paperback books and you can rip off the cover and the spine in the back and leave the spine exposed. And of course you would want to find a book that has a page on the front that doesn't have anything on it. So you could do that and then stack them. The other idea that I had was going and getting some books, hardback books at the Dollar Tree. So they were only $1 a piece, and I found 3 of these, and I was going to take them and just paint them all white. And then I bought a little stencil, and I was going to stencil the wording that I wanted on there. And then I thought, you know, I might just use some Mod Podge and some printed out on paper and just do it instead, because I really wasn't finding the stencil that I wanted. So I just started playing around a little bit. So when I took the cover off of the book, this is what I ended up with. It's like a cream color, and I love the color of this. I'm not sure if you can tell the color, but it had the blue wording on here. And excuse me, I kept thinking, man, I wish I didn't have to paint that. But then I was looking at my paints that I had, and I have this, it's called a white wax paint. I don't know if you can see that or not. But it's almost the identical color to this book. And I thought, So my brain started going, and I thought, and this is embossed, so it's kind of indented. So what I did was, got my little sander out here, my little sanding block, and I just sanded this down a little bit. And just, you know, tried to smooth it out as much as possible, just to knock it down a little bit. And then what I did was, I took my white paint, since this was more of a wax, it doesn't really cover well. So I took my white paint, and we'll show you how I did that. Okay, so now I'm putting on a coat of paint. And it will take 2 coats to cover this. So this is where the time-consuming part comes in. It's just really a matter of waiting for the coats to dry in between. And then I will put a second coat on everything, and then I will come back and show you when I apply the white wax, and I'll show you what that'll look like. Okay, so now my books are dry after 2 coats of the white paint, and now I'm going to do the cream color paint. Like I said, look, I don't know if you can see that or not, the difference. This matches perfectly. So now I'm just going to go ahead and paint the spine. And like I said, this is like a wax. It's not really a paint, but it's just enough that when I paint over the white, it blends in with the book color perfectly. Now, keep in mind when you're looking for these books, you want to get a book that has a light colored cover, so it's easier to paint. Obviously a white or cream is going to be the best, and they're very, very easy to paint. This was just pure luck on my part that I found these books that had no writing on it other than the spine, and how well it matched this color that I already had on hand, or else I would have ended up painting the whole book. And if you do end up painting your book, this is wet, I'll show you on the one that's not wet. And I'm going to let that dry, and I'll end up doing one more coat. So when you do end up painting your book, don't forget you want to paint on the inside here. So you're going to want to lay your book out and just paint on the inside edge, because when the book's closed you will see that, so just remember to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put on the creamy color on the spine here. Okay, my friends, I have now painted the spines of these books. As you can see, it is a perfect match. And now what I'm going to do is use my, this is a Mod Podge photo transfer. I bought this for photo projects, and honestly it's not the greatest, but since I have it, that's what I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit here. Alright, my friends, it is now the next day. I wanted to say that when I finished working on the books, I just did not like the way they turned out. The Mod Podge, when I tried to wipe the paper off, it was sticking and it left like this residue, and I just really was not happy with it. So I decided to scratch that and go back, paint over everything, and come back, reevaluate, and try to figure out what I wanted to do. So I ended up pulling out my stencils that I had purchased at the Dollar Tree, and I thought, you know what, let's try doing the stencils. So that's what we're going to do next. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to stencil the words on the books. Okay, so I have my 3 books here, and what I'm going to do is start backwards with the wording, so that way I make sure that I have my spacing. And also what I'm going to do is do like the last letter of each word on the books, and then give it a chance to dry a little bit, and then go back, because I want to make sure that I don't smear the paint. So I've decided, I thought about doing the black, but then I decided I think I'm going to get ahead with my brown, because I am distressing the books a little bit just to give it a little worn look. So this one's going to say autumn, so I'm looking for my N. And again, I showed this in one of my hauls, so if you didn't see it, I'll show it to you again. This is a stencil from the dollar store. These actually peel off and you can stick on, but I want to reuse some of the letters, so I'm not going to stick it on, I'm just going to hold it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get my N. You're going to put that right there. Okay, that's probably going to be the best way to flatten it like that. Now I'm going to dip it in my paint, and then I'm off here on the side. As you can see, I'm dipping on my paper towel, and I'm just going to dot it. I'm not wiping, I'm just dotting lightly, because I don't want it to run under my stencil. Okay, and now I'm going to lift up. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. Look at that N. Isn't that beautiful? All right, well, I'm gonna get ahead and continue stamping, and I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, my friends, I have completed 2 of the 3 books, my cider and autumn, and now I am finishing up the one that says pumpkin. So I just have 2 letters left to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add the U. And then let's get that down. Again, we're just tapping lightly because we don't want it to get underneath the stencil. Lift it up. And then my last letter is a P. That done. Just lightly dabbing. And there we go. Pumpkins. So that one's going to go on the bottom. Now I was playing around a little bit and I was distressing the books a little bit. So what I'm going to do is get a wet paper towel. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of water here, a little bit of my paint, and this off to the side there, just to mix it up a little, to make it a little thinner. Okay, and then I'm just distressing it a little bit on the ends. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to with the wet paper towel. And see how I have too much on that end? I just need to wipe it, and it'll take it, and you go back just lightly. See how to take it off. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. Okay, sorry friends, I moved on. I don't know what's going on. It seems like every time I try to film, my house phone rings. So I just distressed that a little bit. You see that? And on the top. Like I said, when you have a wet rag and you mix a little bit of water with your paint, it thins it out. And then I'm just kind of going around the edge, like where you would touch it. And then you see, I'm just rubbing it with the wet paper towel. It's very forgiving. See that? And this is where I painted the spine, and where the spine is painted, it's a little bit more forgiving than just the top, because this is the actual book itself, the material, and this is kind of more glossy. I guess glossy is what I want to say, from the paint where I painted it. So there's that. So now I have my pumpkins, autumn, and cider. There we go. Isn't that adorable or what? Now this I'm really pleased with. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead. I already cut this because I had finished the books earlier, and I had some ribbon that I think I showed, had shown earlier, just from the dollar store. And I'm going to put that here. I'm gonna flip the books over, and you can glue the books together if you want, so they don't move. That's totally up to you. So I'm gonna put that down. I'm not going to, because I think I like it when the books are a little crooked. Then I just used a piece of packing tape to hold that down. And then again, I have this here. This is like a tube, but when you pull it, it gets flat. And that was one of the things. I didn't want something that was gonna have a little bit of height to it, because then my books would rock when they're sitting. So I decided to get that, and then I'm gonna pull it taut. And then I'm gonna grab myself another piece, lift this up, and I'm going to pull it taut down. That. Okay, now I have that over. What do you think of that? Look at those colors. They're so pretty together. I love how they coordinate. And then what I think I'm going to do, if you remember from the earlier project that I did, I had these little pumpkins that clipped on, and I had one left, and I had some fall leaves. And I don't want to glue all this on here, just in case I ever decide I want to change it out. I have some green ribbon, so I think I'm just going to kind of sit it on there. So what I'm going to do is put this through there like that. Kind of let it hang off the edge a little bit. And have this big pumpkin too that I like. I think I might do that. I have a couple other leaves here. Let's get those tucked in. We can hide these stems with that big pumpkin. And I think we'll do another one right here. And what we'll do is put this pumpkin on there like that. And let's see if we can maybe clip this on the leaf. Put the big pumpkin like that. And I have a little bit of this that fell off of a... Oh, I'm liking this, friends. I'm liking this. Oh, it's so beautiful. Friends, look at that. All right, my friends, that'll do it for today. I really hope you enjoyed these 3 little quick, easy DIYs. Let me know in the comments below if you try out any of these crafts. I would love to hear from you. You can even attach a picture. I would love to see what you've created. So thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell. It really helps my channel out. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.